Hi, everybody. Another quick message that I wanted to present. Uh, I've been encouraged by people working with me to do it this way. I guess for the internet exposure and all that stuff. What I'm believing very strongly, though, is that the energy that exists in all of us can be helpful in changing our lives and this world more than anything else we can do. Whether it's through the media, websites, YouTube, or whatever it is. Do we need those things? Yeah, but they have to become so secondary, and the trusting where we are in any given moment is much more important. So I just wanted to say that real quickly, and also I wanted to put out there what we need as human beings on this planet more than anything else, and this is what I believe we need. We need a connection, of course, with that higher power, if you will, or self, or God, or spirit, or energy, or quantumness. You can call it whatever you want, but there's a reality to it. I'm totally convinced. And however you see that, and it needs to be not like in a narcissistic way, like some, people live that way, but it needs to be in such a way where you are trusting something deeper inside yourself, even when you aren't sure about it. And again, it's trusting as best you can in any given moment. And it's so important to realize that with trust, there also is going to be doubt. Why would you need trust or faith if if you believed in everything? To me, and I think there's some scripture in the Bible that says something about faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So to me, that's an interpretation of it's okay to have doubt. And whatever faith you do have or whatever trust you have, you need to hold on to it. And that because of all this confusion that's going on inside of us. But if you hold on to this, the other stuff evaporates more and more as you expose yourself to it. Because you're holding on to this thing that you're not even really sure about, but you know is so real. And the more you hold on to it, it becomes more and more real. You feel better no matter what's going on in your life. So it's important to do that, especially now. We just don't do it enough. We need to connect to that first and foremost. And then within that, we need to find a group of people, the community is that important, who have the same kind of or like mindedness and are able to be so vulnerable with themselves that we're giving ourselves to help each other and the world. Just that simply. All the other little nice things involved with it, whether it's, you do your religion this way, your thing this way, that way, that's not the important thing, or the most important thing. The most important thing is that you allow yourself to be open or use what I call my fourfold way of living, basically. And there's more to it, of course, but it's individualized to you to where you can experientially live this, the idea of the fourfold. And it's not necessarily in this order, but it's the idea of being aware of yourself and your body all the time, or learning to do that. No matter what you're going through, always bringing yourself back to here first and foremost. And this is that connection with you and it. And the second part of it is being vulnerable, and the idea of what vulnerability truly is. And then there's different aspects of that. It's not just, oh, I got to throw everything out. And I've heard people say, oh yeah, I'm vulnerable. I just have my heart on my sleeve, and I'll say whatever I want, and that's being vulnerable. Is it? No, that's being cocky. But being vulnerable is being open to not knowing, humble enough to show that, and doing that. So awareness, vulnerability, and then you got to take a risk with that and start exposing this more and more to yourself first and foremost. But it can work better for many people to start exposing it incrementally to others, even if you're just putting it out there that you don't know, that you're showing who you truly are. And then the icing on the cake and everything is just trusting yourself in the midst of it all. It's getting close to 5 minutes of this, and I'm trying. They're saying make it as condensed as possible, so I'll do that. I hope. Yeah, and And that's it. And it's not necessarily in an order like that, but the more you practice and see this inside yourself, the more it becomes organic and real. We need this right now because there's too many people who are telling us this is the right way to do it. You need to do it this way. You need to do it that way. You need to follow me. And I'm going to be a name dropper. Please forgive me. People like the Tony Robbins, the Sadhgurus, the Joe Dispenzas, the whoever, the ones from the past even, who were there telling us, this is the best way to go and follow me. A lot of what they said, what percentage to some, I don't know, maybe most of it, I don't know. But what I do believe very strongly, can I say it's real? I could be wrong, but what I believe very strongly, all these great leaders with all this power, there was one leader, I won't, well, yeah, Sai Baba, I think it was, where and if I'm misinterpreting names, please forgive me and let me know, but where there was smoke or would come out of his hands, and then jewelry, and he would manifest it, which I don't believe was real. But some people will follow that kind of thing. To me, these kind of things are not good, but even if a person has that much power, why would they stay in their own group? Why wouldn't they all get together if they were that close to spirit or to this energy? You would think they would gravitate together to really change this world, all of them, or as many of them who are in those kind of positions, but they're not doing it. So to me, that's a good giveaway that no, they're doing great, wonderful things, but not enough. And we need to have a group of people who can do that. I use some of analogies from Christianity sometimes, from Buddhism, from this or that. The Buddhist concept of people getting together. There is always a hierarchical structure in any group, in any religion, it seems to be. And might that be necessary to some degree? I don't know. But I do know, for Christianity, the apostles, they were right there with Jesus, right, in the story of in the New Testament. And then they just kind of stayed together. I mean, they would separate and go do things, but they all had the same, similar, they don't have to be exactly the same in anything, message and heartfelt connection with each other, and connection with their adamant belief system. Let's get more adamant and real about this in a good way. And then what needs to happen is the evidential nature of it, to see it repeating itself over and over and over again. We need that so much right now. Please make a stand. Let's stand together. Let's do this. We have a group that comes together every first Sunday of the month right now. We'll see how it grows. And basically what it's called is a energy healing gathering. So basically we're just getting together and we're just helping each other with music, with meditation, with a presentation at times, with breakout rooms, and trying to really heal in such a way where we're all learning. You can have any religion, any group you want to be, but to have also the same or similar universal language, universal connection. Thank you. Hope the best for everybody, because there's so much suffering in the world. So keep your prayers out for everybody who's suffering. Bye-bye.